Speed boots are all about speed, doing things as quickly as possible. You know how long it takes to tie these? Zero seconds. That's fast. What's going on, guys? Josh from soccerreviewsforyou.com bringing you my review plus on-feet video of the brand new hardwired pack colorway of the Adidas X19 Plus, the latest laceless speed boot from the Adidas brand that has made huge improvements over the previous generation despite having a very similar overall design. And that improvement is really what I want to discuss here, because while I've been critical of laceless football boots up until this point, when you're talking about the speed boot concept, having that second skin wrap on your foot, not having any laces actually makes a lot of sense. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to go over all the details, including how they fit and feel on feet. So if you're interested in learning more, please stick around and watch the entire video. And if you're interested in a pair of these, especially if you live in Canada, a lot of my Canadian viewers have been asking where they can buy boots within the country so they don't have to pay international shipping and duties. Well, there is a website now, and it's evangelistasports.com. If you check out the first link down below in the description, there will be a link directly to Evangelista Sports, along with an exclusive coupon code for SR4U fans to get not only 10% off these, but all the latest Adidas boots. So if you live in Canada and you're looking for some new boots, be sure to go ahead and check it out. By the way, if you guys do end up enjoying this video, don't forget to support it with a like, and also let me know down below in the comments if you guys would like to see some comparisons between the X19 Plus and other boots on the market. Let me know specifically what you want to see down below in the comments. Also, if you're new here watching for the first time and don't want to miss out on daily content from me, make sure you hit that subscribe button along with the little bell notification so you get notified when the next new video goes live. Included with the boots is a box. And you also get a string bag made out of the typical black mesh material we get from Adidas. It has the X and Adidas logos there on the front, and even a stitch running down the middle of the bag to separate it into two compartments, meaning that your left and right boot never have to touch each other inside of the bag if you don't want them to. It's a decent string bag, which is why it gets a rating of X out of Z. So first things first, let's take a closer look at this new hardwired pack colorway that I think looks really, really good. And the first thing that I thought of when I saw these was the cyan blue F50 Adizero that they came out with back in 2010. So 9 years later, we kind of have a tribute to that exact colorway, using the same cyan blue, using a white detail as well in the upper, as well as pink accents in the studs, as well as the insole. The one thing I would have liked to have seen is white Adidas stripes to more closely match the original, but instead they've gone with this kind of reflective color changing material for the stripes that end up looking black in normal light, but you can see when you take a picture of them with the flash, it looks absolutely ridiculous. And then the colorway as a whole, I just think looks cool. It allows you to see the different layers of this X-lace skin upper because of the contrasting blue and white. You even get to see the little cutouts there through the midfoot, which always looks very cool in my opinion. Then you'll also find that the sole plate does have a blue chrome wearable finish, so this finish will chip away over time. Keep that in mind. And they have also gone with a pink detail in the translucent pink studs running through the forefoot. All in all, I think that this is by far the best looking colorway of the X19 Plus, but let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. As for the boots themselves, let me be clear in saying that my preference in the X19 lineup is the X19.1 over the X19 Plus. However, like I talked about at the start of this video, I think the improvements made between X18 Plus and X19 Plus, two boots that actually seem very similar on paper, is very dramatic. So dramatic that the X19 Plus does lead me to believe that it is possible that the future of speed boots might be laceless, and really it comes down to the way that these boots fit and feel on your feet. This new X-lace skin upper that you can see has these cutouts through the base layer, kind of inspired by the 99-gram Adizero that came out in very limited quantities several years ago from the Adidas brand. It's soft, it's flexible, it's super, super thin. It has more of a true barefoot pingy sensation in comparison to the mesh-based synthetic, the speed mesh to be more specific, that you'll find on the 0.1 variant. And you just end up with this very, very clean touch across the entire foot, partially down to the fact that there aren't any laces to obstruct your touch. And that's not to say that laces are going to mess up your touch on the ball, but as they say, every little bit counts, and that's kind of what the modern football boot industry has turned into. These very small changes, these very small differences that all come together to make a big difference as a final product, and that's kind of the sense that I get with this particular boot and the laceless system that they've gone for. The one downfall I still think is the fit, and that is where laceless technology I think has a long way to go, because while I think these fit really well, at least they fit me quite well, that's the thing. It's going to vary from person to person, given the fact that this boot very much does have a predetermined shape. There's not a ton of stretch to the upper, which you don't really want, given that this is a speed boot. You want a responsive sensation, which this is hugely way more responsive than what we had from the previous generation. But again, if your foot doesn't match this exact shape, it's just not going to feel or perform as good as it possibly could. Moving to the rear, you'll find that it does feature a low cut construction, but with their kind of X-claw cut, at least that's what they're calling it, where you're gonna find this extended bit at the back and an extended bit at the front. None of that really makes for any difference in terms of feel or fit. It's really just a matter of, I guess, visually being a little bit different. I know some people don't like it. It's not something that bothers me in any way at all. Maybe this extension piece at the front I could do with it being a little bit shorter, but the back piece, I actually quite like the look of it. And then as far as the heel liner is concerned, another kind of favorite element of this particular boot, part of the reason why I find the X-Line so comfortable is this kind of exaggerated heel bump design that you have in the heel liner, where it's basically two very soft pillows with a synthetic suede material, as well as these little grip dots to help grip your sock. Very comfortable. I think it locks your heel in place very nicely. And for a laceless boot, the heel lockdown is actually pretty decent here. The insole is of course fully removable and features a nice synthetic suede lining on top, and it's made from a single layer of white foam with some perforation throughout. Pretty much the standard comfort insole that we're used to seeing from the Adidas brand. Moving to the base of the boot, you're going to find the Speed Frame Soleplate, which is basically just a rebranded or renamed Sprint frame, something we've been seeing from the Adidas brand for a long time. It does include an external heel counter made out of plastic, which I'm personally a big fan of, and the Soleplate itself is pretty standard in terms of what we've had from the Sprint frame in the past. It's got good flexibility to it, but doesn't feel flimsy in any way at all. And as far as the stud pattern is concerned, this is their FG-AG layout for the X-Line, where in the forefoot, you're going to find these kind of almost bladed style triangular studs. They're probably the most aggressive layout from the Adidas brand right now. And then conical studs in the heel. For a speed boot, the traction is very, very good. Is it the most aggressive you can get? No. But as an all-around stud pattern, especially for use on artificial grass and natural grass, I think this is one of the better layouts out there. Another very important element of a speed boot is the weight. You want them to be as light as possible. And the X19 Plus, in a size 9.5 US, you can see weighs in at 7.1 ounces, the equivalent of 201 grams, which in comparison to other speed boots out there, other top-end speed boots I should say, pretty much on par with everything, meaning that they're light. On feet, I think the X19 Plus is really comfortable, and like I said, in comparison to the X18 Plus, the slightly modified shape, the lowered volume, the little bit of a tighter wrap, I just think makes for a better overall fit, but it's not without its downsides. I think what's unique about this particular football boot, being that it is laceless, it has a very consistent amount of tension across the entire foot, but as a whole, isn't overly tight. When you have a boot with a lacing system, a lot of that tightness is typically focused around the lacing system itself, because that is the part that you are using to tighten the upper to have it wrap your foot as closely as possible. This wraps your foot very closely, but at no point does it really feel like it's squeezing your feet, which is good from a comfort standpoint, but not so great when it comes to lockdown and responsiveness. And really, the overall fit is going to vary from person to person, depending on how well your foot matches the shape of these football boots. And there's really no way to know that until you actually get them on your feet. But I would say in general, if you don't mind having a not so tight fit, or you just don't like a super tight fit where the boots are squeezing your feet, you'll probably enjoy the way that these fit and feel in general. Again, from a lockdown perspective, given that these fit me quite well, they're actually not too bad, although there's definitely room for improvement, and I do think the X19.1 is better. As far as width is concerned, if you had really wide feet, I think you might have some issues getting them on, just given the way that the opening is cut. But as long as your feet aren't too wide, I think that these will fit most people. And as far as sizing is concerned, I'm wearing these in my usual size 9.5 US, and the fit and the length is perfect. So if you're looking to order a pair for yourself, I would strongly recommend going true to size in order to achieve the best possible fit. So in conclusion, I think what's interesting about the X19 Plus is that it is a laceless speed boot that legitimately does hold its own against all of the other top-end competitors out there, X19.1 included. Granted, I think that the X19.1, mainly due to its lacing system, does improve upon the fit, as well as lockdown and responsiveness, but it's not a dramatic difference when compared to the laceless model, which, like I said, is very, very surprising. I don't think that at this very moment, this is the laceless football boot of the future, but it's good enough to lead me to believe that this potentially could be the future of speed boots, period. I like what they've done here, and I think if you're into the laceless thing and also into the speed boot category, you're really gonna have a positive experience with the X19 Plus. Anyways, guys, that's it for my review. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to support it with a like. Again, if you're interested in a pair of these for yourself, especially if you live in Canada, evangelistasports.com. It's the first link down below in the description, where you also find a coupon code for SR4U fans to get 10% off these, as well as all of the new Adidas releases. So be sure to go ahead and check that out. If you have any questions, as always, leave them down below in the comment section. I'll do my best to get an answer out to you as soon as I possibly can. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all my social media information linked down below in the description as well. Other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.